of my well-balanced solopreneurs, or those that are attempting to be well-balanced. Welcome back to the Universal Guide to Being a Well-Balanced Solopreneur extended interview series. We had so much fun during the actual summit that I just wanted to continue and keep doing this because we get such wisdom when we come together and ask questions and explore. So I'm loving this. For those of you who are just meeting me, my name is Cindy, and I am on a mission to simplify the online business world so that more people like you can step up, share their message, and have a positive impact on the world so that we can all have that freedom and ease and playful adventure that we all got into this business for. Right?
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you here today, Flora. And I mean, what are the chances that we get a moon priestess in here on a full moon? Chance? Chance? Or does it just, you
Pretty good chance. Yeah. I was sharing with Cindy that when I have the opportunity to choose the date for an interview, first I always look at my own cycle, right? I don't want to be premenstrual if I've got to be high vibe and magnetic during an interview. And then I look at the moon cycle, and I have childcare on Thursdays. So knowing that I was in the upswing of my cycle, it was a full moon and it was a Thursday, got my date.
right? That was not just happenstance. That was like it was meant to be. All of the things came together to make it happen. So, welcome, Flora. Totally went off on a tangent there. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I think that already gives people a sense of the kind of person I am. But yeah, thank you so much, Cindy. My name's Flora Ware, and I live just up the road from Cindy in beautiful BC, Canada. And I'm a spiritual life and business coach, a marketing consultant, and launch strategist.
Mm.
I'm almost toying with the idea of calling myself a lunar launch strategist because, that's a big part of what I look at with planning. And first and foremost, I am a moon circle priestess. I lead women's circles in alignment with moon cycles and seasonal cycles like summer solstice, autumn equinox, things like that. So that's me.
Love that. And as many of you know, I did my first summer solstice fire ritual on the beach. Wish you were there, Flora, but it was magical. It really was. It's so powerful to just take part in those kind of rituals and just feel the energy. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. So you call yourself a launch specialist, but you do things a little bit differently. You don't follow the rules of the old school business way, do you?
Well, no, I don't.
Yes. Perfect.
Where's where would the fun be in that,
Right.
right? Um, I mean, there's certain ways of doing things like you know like we're all using Facebook, for example. It's like the platform itself is a constant, or we might host an event on Zoom like this, and so that is the constant. But when I'm looking to when I'm working with a client to help them design and and deliver a launch, whether it's for an event or for a program, or even for their own, one-on-one offerings. If they've never really made a big splash, done a launch like that, whatever you are launching, there's all sorts of ways that we can look at what makes you unique,
Mm.
and working with those strengths, understanding what your shortcomings are, or what I also refer to as shadows,
Mm.
because I like to look at your archetypes. Yes, we'll look at the moon calendar, and yes, we're also going to look at the conventional calendar too, because you want to be aware of other stat holidays. Certainly even us in Canada, we want to be aware of, oh, is it a stat holiday in the US? So there's things, so you look from the really practical and tangible side, right through the cosmic and energetic side of things, to bring it together in a way
Mm.
that it can be a success, and it can feel I mean, not necessarily easy, but it can feel in flow, and that's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I mean, there's so many people out there that launch stuff, and I see the stress and the overwhelm that they go through right leading up to launch. And I know knowing your archetypes is very powerful because I'm launching tomorrow, and I'm just like, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, that's such a good sign, and I'm glad you brought that up. Here you are in a launch, about to launch, or you've kind of been in pre-launch, right? And really, that's where the magic happens, is in the pre-launch phase.
Yeah.
And you're good,
Yep.
right? You said to me, "I'm not stressed out." You're feeling good. That's a great sign right there that you're in alignment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're out of alignment, you're going to be pulling your hair out, staying up till 3 in the morning, tweaking the sales page just a little bit more. Yeah, it's definitely. So, for those of the group that may not know what archetypes are, can you dive into that just a little bit and give a kind of a high level overview?
Of course, yes. It's always good to have definitions.
Hmm.
Um, at its most basic, an archetype is a behavioral pattern.
Mm.
So it's what's in us that makes us react the way we do. It makes us, who we are. It goes beyond our personality, or like personality types, because archetypes are they aren't individual. They belong to the collective unconsciousness.
Mm.
Okay. And so this is where we get into the psychology aspect of it. Archetypes were really put forward by Carl Jung, the very, very famous psychologist, who started to understand that we connect to and express these archetypes, and they are patterns. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter when you live.
Hmm.
Or the example I always like to give, because it's so universal, is that although a mother today in the 21st century living in a big city might on the outside look very different than a mother in the second century living somewhere in Asia, the motivations and at the essence of the mother is the same.
Mm. Hmm. Absolutely. So, time and space doesn't define your archetype. I
No.
love that explanation. That's awesome. So good. So how would somebody go about figuring out what their archetypes are?
Well, you can call me.
Right.
Or yeah, there's I mean, just like all of those personality tests that are online, or Enneagram, or now one that's seems to be becoming popular, at least in my circles, human design. You can find quizzes and assessments online. You could also do some reading, because really, by reading and understanding the archetypes, you start to waken them up in you, and you recognize yourself. You say, "Oh yeah, that's me," and then
I don't want that to be me, but that's me.
exactly.
Yeah, I love that. So good. So how would, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but how would knowing your archetypes apply to being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Well, so this is where I totally geek out because I get really excited.
Love it when
Um,
people geek out on me.
right? Yeah, I know this is the right place to do it. So our archetypes affect our leadership,
Hmm.
really how we're coming across, how we're leading our businesses, the kinds of offers that we want to put out through our business, right? Someone who um, is someone who just really loves intimate one-on-one, working one-on-one with someone, but then thinks, oh, maybe I should,
There's
right?
the word.
Should do a group program, or I should do something that, because I see other people doing it, it might not click or work in the same way, because that's not what your soul is really meant for.
Hmm.
And the same vice versa. Someone who's a really excellent group facilitator and works better as in that way, that being more of the leader, business archetype, I call it, or the wild woman archetype. She's going to say, why do I have a hard time getting one-on-one clients? So my group program is so much more successful. That's okay. That's how you are. That's your soul's blueprint for success, is with that way. But we can think that we're supposed to have the other thing sometimes.
Right.
um,
Everybody
so
else
no,
is doing it, so I should do it, right?
exactly, right, that comparison. So knowing your archetypes allows you to really know your strengths,
Hmm.
which is really important, and equally important, knowing your shadows or your shortcomings that I mentioned before, so that where what you are, where you need support, where you should outsource, where you should have someone else filling in that gap in where your strengths are. It really helps you understand that the kind of support that you need as well, and what to watch out for. Again, going back to the mother archetype, which is a nurturer feminine business archetype. One of the big shadows for the nurturer is that they would give it all away for free. They would do what they do for free,
Yep.
right? Because they love it, and that's fine, except when you're trying to have a business, right? And
Right.
they will struggle with um like compulsively discounting, or like undervaluing themselves, or really over giving to the point where they feel depleted and resentful,
Right.
right? Like it's always okay to go above and beyond, or
Yeah.
to, obviously we want to delight our customers, our clients,
Mhm.
but there's that point, right? And so if you know that about yourself, you can catch yourself. For me, I'll give you a tangible example, because I'm nurturer, strong nurturer as well. Um, I was responding to a messenger text at like 9:30 at night, which for me is late because
Yep.
I'm a mom.
Mhm.
And I started to realize that I didn't have the boundaries. I didn't really have office hours.
Right.
And so I was like feeling like I needed to get back to them, because I care. That's my nurturer. And so that once I really understood that, and that was just one little way that I was in the shadow of my nurturer archetype, I'm now much more clear that I work from these times, and I sometimes won't get back to you until the next day. And if it's the weekend, actually I'm with my family, I won't get back to you until Monday.
Yeah.
And that's okay,
Mhm.
because we are in a business.
Yes. Boundaries are important. I think that awareness of your light and shadow is really important because I know for me, I was struggling in business a year ago, like big time. Didn't know what my archetypes were. And what I discovered, I was sitting in front of my computer all day long, never talking to anybody, and just work, 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 work. No wonder I was miserable because my business archetype is the child eternal. So
Mm,
I must play and have fun and be adventurous and be goofy and sit on my patio and frolic. So when I added that piece into my business shifted and all of a sudden everything made sense. So
mm.
just having that awareness is so powerful. I love it.
Yeah, I love that you shared your own personal example, and that's a beautiful name for that archetype. And that reminds me to mention here that when you do start to explore archetypes, you will find many different systems.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the traditional Jungian archetypes, they have different names, and it's actually, there's is it, now I'm forgetting, is there 8 or is there 12? But anyway, and what you just said is it, I haven't heard that before. The child eternal. I'm guessing that was something from Joy Kingsborough.
Yeah, it's Caroline Meese actually.
Oh,
Yep.
Carolyn Meese.
So she's
Okay,
got
beautiful.
this
So okay, beautiful. So I would connect that in the system that I use as the maiden archetype,
mm-hmm.
and it's a creative business archetype. So if I'm going to follow this little trail right now, Cindy,
Yeah.
here you were as essentially a creative maiden archetype, but you were trying to act like the expert, wise woman archetype. Not to say that you aren't a wise woman.
Yeah.
You are. We all know that you are.
I am.
But it was like out of balance, right? Because there you were just, and you're the get shit done girl, right? Aren't you supposed to work hard all day long? No, all work, no play.
Fuck no. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Gotta play. Gotta play. So,
Mm,
speak to me because I know that you do a lot of rituals in your
mm.
business and in your personal life and everything. So, can you speak to me about the importance of ritual?
Yes, would love to. Truly, it's rituals that keep me a well balanced entrepreneur.
There's the answer,
And
ritual.
yeah, right. And I am in business with my wife
Mhm.
and my life partner, my co-parent, and we're in business together. So I can't totally call myself a solopreneur. And we do have a wonderful virtual assistant and graphic designer. I also have a community manager for my Facebook group, and starting to get that team. But
So you just
how I
know that a solopreneur is never alone,
that's right.
right? Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, but it's so true. It's so true, and that is important to remember. So for me, rituals have been part of my life for a very long time. About going on 26 years now, and that I was 14 when I attended my first full moon circle
Mm.
many years ago, many moons ago, and so but to be fully transparent, it really wasn't until probably the birth of my son almost 5 years ago that I really understood how rituals were my form of self-care.
Mm.
I hadn't really looked at them in that way. I looked at them as being, part of my spiritual faith and my path, and even like a socializing, an aspect to socialize, be with women in that way. I hadn't really understood rituals and their significance for me as part of my self-care, and as part of that mind body soul balance.
Mhm.
And as I'm sure you'll hear every entrepreneur say, starting your business and building it is an accelerator for your personal and spiritual growth.
Oh, yes.
So yeah. So it shines the light on any area of your life that you need to have more balance in,
Mhm.
and and in growing and expanding, and or up leveling, whatever term you want to use, as you're opening up more, as you're sharing more, as you're actively sharing who you are and your work out into the world, and all the fears that come up with that of putting yourself out there. For me, ritual is a big part of that self-care, where it's like I can talk to that scared part of me,
Mhm.
that before I do something, or what's coming up, or I can really check in with myself about, why did that comment on my post trigger me? or whatever it is, and so rituals can be done at any time. I want to make that point clear. They can be done at any time of the lunar cycle, the moon calendar. They can be done at any time of your day. There's no right or wrong way to do a ritual. All you need for ritual is your intention.
Mm. Wow.
What makes something sacred other than our reverence of it,
Mhm. Absolutely.
right? Yeah, so there's no right or wrong way. You can do it anytime. That said,
What a relief.
that said, though, I do believe that we can amplify
Mm.
the intentions in our rituals when we do look at things like, what phase is the moon in? What time of year is it? So that we can look at those seasonal and lunar cycle, and even, like I mentioned at the beginning, even our own menstrual cycles as women, if you're still if you're still bleeding, and so that it can have like a magnifying effect to it. But I don't want anyone to use that as a crutch. Oh, I guess I can't do a ritual because, oh, I've got to wait 2 weeks until the moon is. No, 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 no. Just do the ritual.
Do the ritual. So today would be a perfect day to do a ritual.
Well, it is because it's the full moon.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
can you speak to us about what you plan to do for your ritual today? I'm sure you've probably already done some of it, but
Well, I did because I always know when, because I have my different moon calendars, that the moon actually was the peak of fullness was, I think, last night at 10 o'clock for us.
mm-hmm.
So with full moons, you definitely have the day before, the day of, and the day after. So yes, tonight is still fine, absolutely. And full moons are have an energy of completion. You might not think of it as that because they are a peak, but in some ways they are a completion of a cycle, because we have the new moon when there's no moon in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
dark moon, and then it's 2 weeks until it's full. And so when we seed some intentions on the new moon, which I know it's much more popular these days, people know what you mean when you say setting a new moon intention. And then there's like an energy of completion with the full moon. And so the full moon is a perfect time for forgiveness work. There's always more to forgive. There's always another layer to forgiveness. And forgiveness clears us in order to receive what we are wanting to create, what we're wanting to manifest. So I always tell people full moon forgiveness, and always entering a state of gratitude. Being grateful for what you do have, and being grateful for what you are trying to create. And then the third thing is surrendering.
Mm.
And we were just in a more in-depth conversation about this earlier this week, weren't we? Right? Surrendering is not giving up
No.
or throwing in the towel, right? It's not like that. It's letting go of being attached to a specific outcome or a specific form of what you're trying to create. So it's a beautiful time. I mean, always go outside under the full moon if you can. And if it's really cold in the winter, you just like be under the moonlight through a window. At least you can go for a moon walk, if or just lying in the moonlight and looking up at that moonlight and just feeling yourself, like letting go, surrendering, forgiving, and being so grateful. And you can do it simply by thinking it. Like, that's the most basic of a ritual. Like I said, just knowing that you're intending to do this, some intentional thinking and meditating. You can do that, and then you can get more involved. You can bring in crystals. You can write stuff down. You can burn it. You can write stuff down and put it into water. Flowing water is another great way, or even writing it on toilet paper and flushing it, whatever it is, or bringing in essential oils, or burning your sage. Like, you can get more elaborate if you want to, but at the very simple, go for a walk, gaze up at the moon, and intentionally think about some things, release some things, forgive yourself, forgive some people,
Mm.
and be grateful.
I love that. I love that. So the forgiveness piece is often challenging for people. I mean, I know I used to struggle with it. It was like, yeah, I can say I forgive, but did I really forgive? Do you have something that might be able to help our listeners along that path?
Forgiving doesn't mean that you condone or are okay with something that happened or with how someone treated you.
Yeah.
So if there's something that's really sticky like that, like how can I forgive them? It's you can look at it like that. You're not condoning what happened or the behavior, but um, you are forgiving all of the energy around that incident or that long relationship or whatever it is. You can forgive yourself
Hmm.
for I mean, I'm trying to think of some, you can forgive yourself for believing those awful things that your mother said to you that you believed for so long,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is, that kind of forgiveness. And you can forgive her for not loving herself enough to be the kind of emotionally supportive mother that you wanted her to be.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know, I'm just pulling an example out of
I can,
out of the air, right?
yeah, I can see how that would be
um
really powerful though.
yeah, so something that I just wrote down last night, because I was doing my forgiveness journaling, and I'm going to try to remember, because it was exactly, I want to take that example. Um I forgive that part of me that has been that has been scared of my greatness,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. And in the forgiveness is such a release. Like it's so powerful. I often, when I do my forgiveness work now, I feel the goosebumps just coming, like, because it just feels like, whoo, it's gone.
Yeah.
Feels really good.
Yes. And if you circle back to it every month on the full moon, you'll really feel like what was really charged for you last month.
Hmm.
Oh, it isn't so much of a charge this month.
Yeah.
And then the month after that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Now I've got another layer. I've got another thing that I need to forgive.
Yeah.
So it's a really great way to keep on going different, because it's always in a spiral, right? So
Hmm.
we come back around, but there's like slightly different layer, or we've healed a bit of it, but there's another bit of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know when I first started my forgiveness work, it was hard. It was really hard. And oftentimes I would write it and burn it and I wouldn't really believe it. And then the next month it would come back, but it wasn't quite, like you said, as charged. And now the stuff that I was working on 6 months ago, I don't even think about it anymore. It's gone. But I'm
Yeah.
peeling back another layer of the onion.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's why forgiveness is so important. It really does clear us to be able to receive,
Yes.
because we need to be always raising our vibration to match the vibration of what we're wanting to attain or achieve or manifest. And so if we're stuck in that feeling, still resentful or angry, or jealous or whatever it is, then we're not an energetic match.
Yeah.
So it's like the healing work and the energetic work is so important, and especially for entrepreneurs and business people,
Mhm.
and not everyone pays attention to that.
Nope.
They think they need another Facebook ad strategy, or they think they need to get onto a new social media platform. No, you just need to do the inner work.
Yeah, you don't need to spend more hours at your computer either. Go sit on the patio. Awesome. Well, thank you, Flora. What does being a well-balanced solopreneur mean to you?
Hmm. Kind of what you were just saying, that I'm not in front of my computer all day, that I am that I'm making genuine connections with people,
Mhm.
whether or not they're a client.
Yeah.
That I'm that I that and that my business is supporting me financially and fulfilling me on a meaningful level. So that's that well balanced for me.
Mhm.
Like the money, the meaningfulness, the connections. I mean, I'm big on relationships. It's about people. Don't forget that it's not numbers.
Yeah.
It's not just how many numbers you have in your email list. Those are all real people. And not forgetting that fact. And yeah, and having time to play, having time with your family.
Yeah.
I didn't become an entrepreneur just so I could become a workaholic.
Right? Who did?
As much as I love my work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Love that. So, if people wanted to find you and stalk you online, where would they go looking?
Yeah, please stalk me. My company is Strength and Soul, so strengthandsoul.com. And I'll put it in the comments after this that I have a moon ritual guide. It's called Manifest with Moon Magic, and it's 4 rituals that you can do at each lunar phase, and it's free. And you can sign up for that and download it. And it's a guide, right? So if anyone's new to it, it's great to have a guide.
Hmm.
And my intention is that after you do these a couple times, you're going to feel comfortable enough that you start creating your own rituals. You understand the basics.
Hmm.
So it's a ritual guide 101 for moon manifestation. I'm happy to share that.
Yes, please do, because I want a copy.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Flora. It's been
Yeah.
a really great conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Cindy. I really love what you're doing here and sharing these conversations. So it's such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. All right. Bye bye, everybody. Happy full moon.
Bye.